Hello, and welcome to Building Leadership Community Podcast. I'm your host, Dora Mendez. I am the founder and CEO of Coach Dora LLC. Our guests will be entrepreneurs, small business owners, and community leaders that drive social impact. It can be lonely at the top, but it doesn't have to be. Hello, and welcome to Building Leadership Community Podcast. I'm your host, Dora Mendez, and I'm so thrilled that you're here. Thank you for being here. Thank you to all our listeners and viewers for being here. And please don't forget, if you're new to our show, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and hit that little bell button at the bottom of your screen so that you can get notified when new episodes are posted. I wanted to share that since launching Building Leadership Community Podcast, the journey has been nothing short of transformative. As a champion of inclusive leadership, growth, and connection, season 2 is all about deepening the conversations and expanding our impact. At its core, Building Leadership Community Podcast is about fostering authentic leadership and empowering professionals to build stronger, more engaged communities. Every episode dives into strategies, insights, and personal stories that help leaders navigate their leadership journeys with confidence and purpose. Let me tell you more about today's guest. She is someone I felt an immediate kinship with, and I'm absolutely thrilled to have her join us. Even though we haven't had the pleasure of meeting in person just yet, our connection was instant. Perhaps it's a namesake thing, or maybe it's our passion for the world of HR. Either way, I knew I had to invite her to share her insights with you all. Please give a huge virtual round of applause for the incredibly accomplished Dora Jones. Hi, Dora. How are you? Welcome.
Hello.
So I forgot
Thank you for having me.
Oh, you're very welcome. Thank you for being here. I
It's
realized
Dora Lise, but you can call me Dora, Dora Lise, Dora, whichever's easiest.
Dora Lise.
Yes, you got it.
I love it. And so they call you Dora for short.
Yes.
And so I'm just Dora. My namesake was my paternal grandmother. She was Theodora, and everyone calls her Dora. And then she passed away before I was born, and then so I was named Dora.
Love it.
Yes,
way before it's a good one.
The cartoon character who's a hero to the
way
world.
Before the cartoon.
So right? Isn't our name? It's a beautiful name. There are not that many of
that
us.
Is. And yeah, it is.
So before we get into, thank you, Dora. Before we get into our conversation, I realized I should read your bio so that the viewers so get ready to blush because I'm saying all these really nice things about you. Dora Jones brings a wealth of knowledge and experience to the table. With a decade deeply rooted in talent acquisition and management, she currently serves as the Director of Talent Acquisition at Horizon Health Services in Western New York. In this role, Dora leads a dynamic team focused on innovative strategies for recruitment, retention, and development, making a significant impact on the organization's ability to thrive. Dora's impact extends far beyond her role at Horizon Health Services. She also is the driving force behind Casa Consulting Services, where she coaches individuals and small businesses in navigating career searches, building powerful personal brands, and fostering professional development. Furthermore, Dora is deeply committed to the HR community, serving as a co-marketing director for the National Human Resources Association, Western New York chapter, where she champions the HR profession across the region. And if that wasn't enough, She also leading strategic initiatives to support the professional and leadership development of women of color as the board president of You Can't Fail Inc. I love that. Originally hailing from the Bronx with a degree in public communication and public administration. Another thing we have in common, I have a master's in public administration. Dora is a true force of nature for creating sustainable workforce solutions, championing diverse and inclusive environments wherever she lends her expertise. Get ready for an engaging conversation with a fellow Dora who is making a difference in the world of HR and leadership development. Embarrassed?
Thank you.
Blushing yet?
Yeah. I know I'm probably all pink now, right?
So
Thank you.
I'm going to hand the proverbial virtual mic to you and ask you to share a bit about your personal leadership journey and career trajectory.
Sure. Thank you, Dora, and thank you for having me. I'm so honored to be here and share. I love your tagline when you say it can get lonely at the top, but it doesn't have to be, because it is so true for many leaders, especially leaders of color and women of color that are in leadership roles. And so my leadership journey started at home. I'm the oldest of four to Dominican parents. I grew up in the South Bronx. And as the oldest, the leadership baton is just instilled. It's just given to you, tag you're it, and you kind of just develop those skills, for better or for worse. And from there on, it just kind of became part of my identity. And being first generation graduate, first, college attendant, first generation, pretty much all things breaking barriers. Um, Leadership just kind of became second nature to me, and it almost became a task. Like it was, it was it was a must. I come from very hardworking parents. My dad delivered pizza for Domino's Pizza for years until he retired. I used to help him deliver and make phone calls to the clients. My mom took care of senior citizen and their homes throughout the day, and worked two jobs just to make sure that we were set. And so I grew up watching their work ethic and realizing that you know, working, working and serving others is definitely a form of leadership, but it's an honor. And in my house growing up, education was it. It was everything. So I made it my goal to use that collateral of education and participate in all types of, community programs for at-risk youth in the South Bronx, programs like the Gear Up program, programs like Young Athletes Inc. that really helped shape me as a leader today, to be able to help me get into, the college world and
What
and
sport?
go on from there.
What sport did you play?
So Young Athletes Inc. Just despite the name, it wasn't necessarily. I wasn't the one playing the sports. We did a lot of different sports related activities. So journalism, sports journalism, we did a lot of that. We would go to games and write beats and notes and be able to report. We had a magazine that we contributed to in Harlem and in the Bronx. We just it's one of those
That's so
out of school
cool.
programs.
That is
Yeah, that kind of just
awesome.
offered you
Sports
that.
journalism.
Yeah, a little bit of everything. Yeah, mentorship. They really made sure that you were able to capitalize on all of the skills and development, and they really set you up for success there for sure. Yeah.
Evidence.
So that was
Evidence.
growing up, and a little bit, yeah. And then going into college, I came to Buffalo. I went to Buffalo State University and got my bachelor's in public communications. I studied abroad in Italy. I pretty much did it all. I checked all the boxes. I joined a Christian sorority. I was an RA for years. I studied national student exchange in California for a semester, and eventually led into becoming a resident director for the halls as a graduate assistant during my grad school timing. So, one thing led to another. And again, that leadership, behavior, that leadership capabilities is just in you. It's in your system,
When did you
and it
make
just
the
comes
leap?
natural.
Oh, I didn't mean to cut you off. But
Yeah.
when did you make the leap to HR? Because, I spent 12
Yeah,
years in human resources. So how did you make the leap?
good question. I started out in higher ed. And then I dove into staffing. I've done a little bit of social services here and there, care management. I've done a little bit of social services for sexual assault and domestic violence victims. And I realized that wasn't really the route I was heading for. And after exploring my options, I went into staffing. I just kind of like there's an ongoing joke of if you are recruitment, most likely you tripped into it. Like you tripped and you fell into it. And that's pretty much my story. That's the vibe
Wait a
there. And
minute, you're
I
in
I
talent
tripped into it.
acquisition. You're in talent
Yeah.
acquisition,
Talent
which
acquisition.
is the fancy way of saying recruiter. And
Yes.
my journey is similar to yours in that I spent 10 years in public service.
Okay.
And what made me do the leap was I was getting burnt out. And
Mm, yeah.
I wanted to figure out a way to how to continue to serve on an organizational level.
I know.
And I was an investigator. I was an investigator, and I
Okay.
investigated discrimination cases, and it was rough, and I had
I bet.
employment discrimination. So I had all the legal
Mhm.
knowledge, and I loved doing it. I loved
Yeah.
teaching.
Yeah.
I was always the trainer, and I would train victims
Yeah.
uh of discrimination, victims of domestic violence. And so I loved the teaching element. So I went back to get my master's, and that's where I learned that I could combine all that legal knowledge and my love for engaging with people and
Yeah.
in HR. And
Love
so,
that.
and
Yeah.
then I could still serve. So I went from government
Yeah.
to nonprofit space. So
Mhm.
I could still serve people, right?
Yeah.
And so,
Yeah.
and I feel like, because you mentioned
Minimize
you
that
were doing,
burnout.
I feel like we have a shared journey in that you did social work and casework and you were on the front
Mhm.
lines, but it's
Mhm.
hard. It's hard. It's the vicarious
Yeah.
trauma, but you could still serve in HR. Um,
For sure. For sure.
so
It's more of like it's a different route, but you're still making an impact. And at the same time, you're also making sure that you're still of service, that you're still good for the community, for the greater good. You're no good if you're burnt out. And when you wanna keep pouring out your cup, you gotta keep filling it back in. And so I went from staffing, recruitment, um, to, leasing consultant work, where I did, like, some property management for a little bit, and then I went back into staffing again. I knew it was my passion. I'd love to help people, and I have a niche, like, so my nine-year-old daughter asked me one day, so she's old enough that she understands, like, the different types of jobs, and she when I started at Horizon a little over a year ago, she said, "What are you doing at Horizon?" I said, "I'm doing kind of the same thing that I did before, just in a different at a different level. I'm still helping people get jobs." And she said, "Why do you keep doing the same jobs? Like, why do you keep doing the same thing?" As for her, I'm still helping people get work and get jobs. And I said, because I'm good at it. And I really am. And I'm good at it because I love it, because I'm passionate about it. And there's something about matching, people with jobs. I can't match people for dating. I don't have that gift.
well,
But to
you know
match you
what?
with a job,
I have
I
to tell you,
mean,
I don't mean to cut you off, Dora, but I want to share with people who, because HR has such a bad reputation and we have like a PR problem, right? But I will share my favorite part because I was more of a generalist. right? I did
Okay.
the whole
Mhm.
talent cycle,
Mhm.
and then I eventually zeroed in on diversity, equity, and inclusion as a specialty.
Nice.
But and performance management because of my years in
Mhm.
investigation as being an investigator. I
Mhm.
a lot of my bosses and my jobs and my roles, required me to really do performance management work. But
Mhm.
my favorite part is recruiting because I love seeing the potential in people.
Yeah.
And I just love
Mhm.
it. I love finding the potential. I love
Mhm.
it, the match. And it's the most positive
Yeah.
part of the onboarding is the best part. And
Yeah.
you are part of the best part. The other part, when you're offboarding, that's not so fun.
Yeah.
Having to let people go or,
Yeah. Yeah.
or
Right.
but
Right.
I feel
There are
like
some
at
hard
this
parts for sure, yeah.
I feel like the talent acquisition, for those who don't know, I really do think that it's just like the best part because you get. I love the way you described it. I
Yeah.
love the way you
You
described it.
do. You do enjoy it. It's definitely it's an honor to be able to support people in one of their in dire moments and dire needs. Like a job is essentially going to support, someone's livelihood. And so you instill trust, right? Like regardless of how crazy the market may be and how much it ebbs and flows, I enjoy keeping a pulse on the market, but I enjoy even more seeing people succeed and thrive, and honestly seeing the growth, like maintaining connections and relationships, and seeing people whom I've worked with or coached or supervised or any type of thing or mentored to see that continued journey. It's amazing. It's definitely rewarding for sure.
So we're almost at time, and my audience and viewers know I like to keep the episode short. But I feel like I have to ask you a few more questions
Yeah, go for it.
because I love your perspective. And I loved how you shared about your childhood and how much it's clear you adored you adore your parents. If you could go back and tell your younger self, give your younger self some advice about leadership, what would you tell your younger self?
I would say success is not linear and it's not absolute. With that being said, there are very various and many successful moments in life that we can and we should stop to celebrate while we're pursuing the greater purpose. And I think a lot of us lose sight of that as we're in the what they so called the rat race. When you're pursuing your goals and your dreams and you're moving and grooving. Just stop and celebrate the moment. Success is not linear. It's everybody has a different path. Everyone doesn't make it at the same time. Um, And I love to see when it's promoted with like leaders and celebrities and well-known people, that, oh, they didn't get this until they were this age and that because it's very true. We all have our journeys and I would not change mine for the world. It's not linear and it's not absolute.
I love that. So success is not
Yeah.
linear and it's not absolute. There are peaks and valleys, and don't forget to celebrate those wins.
Always.
I love
Yeah.
that. Thank you for elevating that. So can you share
Yes.
so I know on your for those who are watching, you see it says Dora Jones, owner of Casa Consulting Services. So can you
Mhm.
share with our listeners and our viewers uh, how people can get in touch with you, what Casa is, and how they can learn more about you and the
Sure.
work that you're doing for Casa Consulting.
Sure. So with Casa, it was born actually during the pandemic. I began to help folks with their resumes when it just became very chaotic and a lot of people are, out of work and looking for work. I've always done it, but I decided then to make it more of an organized
And to make
practice
money. It's okay to make
and to
you
monetize,
to
yeah,
get
to monetize.
and to prosper from your expertise, and that's okay. It's
Absolutely,
okay too to
absolutely. For sure, I definitely wanted to make it um, successful enough to monetize from something that I enjoy doing. And so, it came about like many others, who COVID was pretty much the boomer of side hustles, right? So to speak. And so, any type of side gigs that were born during that time, this was one of those. Um, and so I'm proud of it. I'm really excited about it. I do resume writing, coaching. I do interview preparedness, support. So if people are, job hunting or preparing for interviews, I help with those. I do a lot of one-on-one consultations for salary negotiations. Really, whatever you need during your search.
So
And as far as
who better to get help from than because you're on the other side. You are the one who
I
gets the
am,
resumes. You're the one who does the interview. So
I
who
am,
better to tap into than a talent acquisition specialist who's
I
passionate about it?
am,
So tell us
I
how
am.
people would get in touch with you. How would people get in touch with you for your consulting services?
Sure, LinkedIn. LinkedIn is also one of my services that I offer, LinkedIn branding for individuals and small businesses. So LinkedIn is going to be my go-to platform. You can follow Casa Consulting on LinkedIn. You can follow me on LinkedIn as well, Dora Jones, comma MPA, and follow my recruitment journey. I'm what you call a double agent. I'm recruiting and hiring during the day for nonprofit healthcare and at night I'm wearing my cape and I'm supporting job seekers and small business brand themselves as well. But LinkedIn is going to be the go-to for all things Dora. With addition to TikTok, I do tap into TikTok as well. On TikTok, my handle is at the job whisperer. And on there, I'm able to share a lot of tidbits. Sometimes I just share my journey, my day, job searching tips, you name it. It's just a little bit of everything.
Well, this Dora thanks that Dora for
Thank you.
sharing with us, spending time with us. And if you haven't done so, Dora, make sure you send me an email with all those handles, and we will make sure that we put it in the description of this episode. So if you're listening and you're looking for a job, uh, don't you don't need to pull over. It'll be in the episode description. So wherever you get your podcasts, we will have
Yeah,
all of Dora Jones's Casa Consulting contact information that she just talked about in the description.
thank you.
And that being said, I can't thank you enough. I learned so much. I learned so much about you, how much we have in common. You're exactly the
Yes,
reason why. My mother is from the Dominican Republic. My
I
father's from
love
Puerto
it.
Rico, so
Good
we're gonna
charity.
have to
Yes,
talk
yes,
offline a lot more. I
yes.
have a 10-year-old and an 8-year-old, so
Nice.
getting the kids together, we will talk more offline.
Yes,
So I wanna,
absolutely.
yeah. So we're gonna continue building an incredible community, one episode at a time. I want to thank our listeners and viewers for watching our show. Again, we're building an incredible community, one meaningful episode at a time, with guests like Dora Jones. And so, Dora, hold on one second while we do our
Okay.
outro. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for being here. You've been listening to Building Leadership Community. Watch on YouTube at Coach Dora and listen wherever you get your podcasts. Follow me on LinkedIn, Instagram, and YouTube at Coach Dora and visit me on the web at CoachDoraMendez.com. Hosted by me, Dora Mendez. Produced by Dora Mendez and Dylan Rogers. Graphics, editing, and sound mixing by Dylan Rogers.